welcome back to my channel. I'm History, and today the video is going to be a bit different. I am going to tier rank all of Colleen Hoover's books that I can find, and I'm gonna base it on the Goodreads list of her, when you type her name, of her profile, of her profile. And all those pictures of the books I'm gonna just get it from Goodreads. So if the book covers are not the latest, you know why. As you can see, I have made the tier rank list here. I have got tier, loved it, liked it, not my fave, and DNF. So the God tier would be books that I really adored and that I would recommend to anyone to read. Loved it would be like 4 stars, this would be 3, this would have been 1 or 2 stars, and the DNF part would be, well, books that I didn't read or didn't finish. And all these pictures of the books, I got it on Goodreads, so if the covers are not the latest ones I could see in the bookstores, well, that it is what it is. Without further ado, let's just get started with the video. The first book is This Girl. This girl is, if I'm not mistaken, a part of the Slammed series. I didn't really enjoy the whole series. I only liked, I think, the first book, Slammed. This is gonna go at not my favorite. I just didn't like it. I felt it was unnecessary. I even felt maybe the second book was unnecessary as well, and I just didn't see the author needing to write up the whole, finish up the whole story for this series. The next book is Losing Hope. This was the boy's perspective of Hopeless, and I didn't really think I needed to read another person's POV of the same story. So yeah, this is gonna go in not my favorite as well. The next book, Ugly Love. This was actually one of my first Colleen Hoover reads. I read this, if I'm not mistaken, last year, and this deserves to be on God tier. I loved the book. I loved the characters. This was about Miles and Tate. I loved the trope, brother's best friend, that kind of forbidden romance thing. I really admired it, and I loved the author's writing. I liked the plot twist. It just deserves to be on God tier, and I would recommend it to anyone who reads it. The next book is Finding Cinderella. I didn't like this book at all. I can't even remember the plot, what happened, and yeah, this is gonna go in not my fave. So not my fave is gonna be the books that I can't remember, but I read it, so it can't go to DNF, and which I forced myself to read it through, so yeah, it's gonna go here and not in DNF. The next one, which is Point of Retreat, this was the second book in the Slammed series, just before This Girl, and yes, I didn't like this as well. I don't know, I just didn't like it. I felt like that if I remember correctly, what I said in my other video of the Slammed series, I just felt that one book was enough for the series. I didn't think there was a need to continue the whole story of it. The next is, November 9th. November 9th is gonna go here on the God tier. I love Ben and Fallon's, if I'm not mistaken, those are the names of the couple. I loved their romance. I loved that their concept of every November 9th we're gonna meet and that helps Ben write a book about it. I just loved the whole plot twist as well. I loved how they connect Ben and Fallon previously, even before they met. And also, if I'm not mistaken, there are mentions of characters of Ugly Love in November 9th, and I like that as well. So that's why it deserves to be on God tier. The next book is It Starts With Us. This is a very overhyped in my opinion, book in everywhere, in TikTok and Instagram, in YouTube, in bookstores, everywhere. And this was actually the second book that I read of Colleen Hoover. I read this after reading Ugly Love. And yes, everyone that I talked to and basically everyone I met, they loved this book, but I just liked it. It was okay. I saw Ryle being abusive and whatever. I didn't like that, the part where he was abusive, but I don't think so. The reason of him being abusive was even explained there. Lily couldn't even understand where he was coming from and all that, and I even felt that Lily was being overreacting, especially the magnet and the journals part that she didn't tell him. So yeah, I felt it was just meh, normal. The next book is Too Late by Colleen Hoover. This is, I think, her thickest book yet. If I'm not mistaken, it has about maybe 500 to 600 pages. I know the epilogue alone has about 200. I think. I could be wrong. I read it a long time ago. And I love this book. This book was amazing. It deserves to be in God tier. It talks a lot about domestic violence. It's all things domestic abuse. Psychological, emotional, physical. There's just so much that I can't say in a video. You're gonna have to read it yourself, but do check your trigger warnings. It is it's a very 18 and above book. It's one of her wildest books yet, and I really enjoyed reading it. It was really good. Next we're having here is Slammed. Slammed was like the first series of Slammed, and I like this book so much. I enjoyed it very much, but not God tier. This is gonna go at loved it. I really liked this book. I enjoyed reading it. This was, if I'm not mistaken, the teacher-student plot twist where she doesn't know he was a teacher and he's her neighbor as well. They move into a new town and they're just trying to pick up the pieces after the girl's father passes. And yeah, so this book was really good. I liked it, but no, I didn't love it that it could go to God tier. I just loved it. Normal loved it. But yeah, this is the book where it's the series where I feel like this is the only book that should exist. It's the first one. I didn't think there was any need for it to go to Point of Retreat and This Girl. I just felt Slammed on its own as a standalone is good enough. The next book is Without Merit. This is a bit under popular. I don't know if that's a word, but it's not very popular amongst Bookstagram and Book Talk and whatever, but I really enjoyed this book. This was a coming of age book. Well, the character's name is Merit. She has a twin and she has a very dysfunctional family. It's amazing. It's really an amazing read. Her father, she lives with her mother who lives in the basement, and the father married the mother's nurse, and they're all staying in one home together with, if I'm not mistaken, her younger brother. She has a younger brother? I can't remember. She also meets a guy, and well, she's just thinking of how she's gonna survive high school with her dysfunctional family who is kind of an outsider in town. Yeah, I really love this book. This deserves, like all these books, it deserves its own tier of its own. I'm gonna switch it up and just randomly pick the books right now because I'm so bored of following the rules, like following book 1, 2, 3 on this row. So we're gonna maybe go to Never Never. Maybe we're gonna finish this 4 rows first. So let's go with Never Never. And I never read Never Never. I did not finish it. I plan on finishing it though this year, 2023. New Year, New Me. I plan on finishing it this year. And well, hopefully I do. Hopefully I do read it and do finish it this year. Okay, so this is Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. This is the first book in the Hopeless series, and I liked it. I didn't enjoy it that much. Actually, I didn't enjoy the whole series. I didn't enjoy the whole series at all. I couldn't love the characters. Although, if I'm not mistaken, I liked Sky. Is that the girl's name? I know I liked the heroine's strength in the book. She really showed a lot of strength just getting through her life in the book. That's all I liked in the book. So it goes in liked it. Now we're gonna go for Maybe Not by Colleen Hoover, and I liked this book a bit much. It goes to loved it. This was the second book in the Maybe Someday series, or the Maybe series, and this was a short novella of the side characters we met in book 1. It was about Bridget and Warren and their romance, which I felt was kind of cool. It was a short novella. It was easy to read. It was enough, like the story was enough to be short. It didn't have to be long, and I liked how the author made it short, which was, I don't know, easy and enough to read. I didn't need more of them. I didn't need less of them. It was enough. It was perfect. Okay, so the next book is Maybe Someday. This is the first book in the series, and I loved it. I loved the book. I really liked the book as well. And this was about, it was a first for me for reading a character that is deaf. The main character, the guy, is deaf, and there's a new girl who moves to his apartment after she kind of had to move out because her boyfriend was cheating on her with her best friend. So she had to move in with this guy. This guy was a neighbor, and this guy has a girlfriend of his own, and yeah, things happen, of course. If I'm not mistaken, there is the cheating element, and they two bond over their love for music, and she learns sign language and all that. That was really good. It's kind of a new theme for me, so I kind of loved it. The next book is fine. Okay, I'll go to One More Step and Two More Days. So One More Step I did not read, and also Two More Days I did not read. I hear it's a collection of books, of short stories with the same starting line, and different authors submit their stories, and I think that's kind of cool, but I haven't read it yet. I will try to get the books and I will read it this year. All these books in the DNF section, I'm gonna read it this year. Next book would be Confess, and this book will be going into Loved It. Yeah, I didn't adore the book, but I liked it. But it wasn't meh for me, so it's going to Loved It tier. This was the Owen and Auburn, and when I read Owen, I remembered of Owen Hunt in Grey's Anatomy. I just don't know why. And so I kind of read it in his voice, in the character's voice, and the character's attitude. Oh my God. And I really like this book. This was amazing. This was kind of cool, but, you know, not the God tier cool. So, yeah. Next book is All Your Perfects. This is also another hyped book by Colleen Hoover, but I didn't like the book much. So yeah, it's gonna go to not my favorite. I don't know why I didn't like the book. I just couldn't see why people liked it. I mean, yeah, I think because of the second chance, or the part that they're trying to mend their marriage. But I like the first chapter though. I really enjoyed the first chapter, how they meet, how they're connected through their respective partners cheating on each other with each other, if you know what I mean. But after that, it just went downhill for me. The next book that I want to do is Finding Perfect, and I want to finish the series, and this is also not my favorite. I didn't like the whole book at all. I didn't like the whole series at all. This is also something like the Hopeless series, and I didn't like it. But at least for Hopeless, I liked the first book, but All Your Perfects, I didn't even like the first book at all. So, yeah. Quite an unpopular opinion, don't come at me for it, but yeah, everyone is entitled to their own opinions. Next is Maybe Now. Maybe Now. It's a bit of a tricky book, but I think I'm gonna put it at Loved It. I loved the series. Not God tier, but I loved it. Maybe Now is the third and the last book of the whole installment, and I loved how the author just wrapped up everything together and giving justice to every single character. Like, I couldn't see any people and any of the characters' fault, despite they may have done something wrong in the previous book. It was just so nice how Colleen just gave everyone their happy moments. The next book is Regretting You, and oh my God, this is another unpopular book. I mean, yeah, it is popular, but not as popular as It Ends With Us or It Starts With Us and yada yada yada. But this book is God tier. This deserves to be on God tier, and I loved this book so much. This was a mother-daughter series, while the mother living her life and the daughter is living hers, and the mother's trying to make sure that her daughter doesn't repeat all the mistakes that she did. And also they are trying to pick up the pieces of her, what do you call this? If I'm not mistaken, was it her best friend? And his, no, I think it's the mom's sister. Yeah, as the mom's sister and the mom's husband. They died together in a car crash, so that brings up a lot of issues. And the fact that the lady who died has a baby with her own husband, or is it someone else's kid? Those questions come up after their death, and they need to pick up all the pieces and answer all the questions. And I absolutely just love this book. This was a really nice, easygoing, and quite fast-paced read. I didn't put down the book. I think I finished it in about 3 hours or so. And next is Heart Bones. Heart Bones is a summer read, and I liked it. Not that I hated it, but I liked it. Yeah, this goes there. I didn't love it so much. I didn't like, I think, the ending or maybe one of the choices the characters made. I remember I didn't like something of this book, and now I can't, for the life of me, I can't think what it is, but there was something that I didn't like, but, nevertheless, I didn't hate it. There was a good build-up of the story. I liked the build-up. I liked the characters, Bea and and the man. I can't remember the man. Also, I didn't like Bea's name. That is an unpopular opinion. Thank you. The next book is Layla, and this is a new a new type of book that Colleen Hoover wrote. It's a bit of a paranormal romance, and I liked it. I just couldn't grasp the last part of the book, the explanations of how, the soul can go in the body and out of the body, and she's a different person. The whole explanation that was mentioned in the book, I couldn't grasp it. I had to reread a few times and I still didn't grasp it. I am maybe stunted in my development, but I couldn't get the whole book. I liked the whole paranormal thing, and it's a new territory for me, but I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get the ending part, but the starting and the middle was really good. Next book is Reminders of Him, and I actually put off this book until this year to read it. So this is like the latest Colleen Hoover book that I've read that is not going to go in the DNF zone. But this book was really good. It was really amazing. I loved it so much. I absolutely loved the epilogue, and you're going to God tier, baby. I really liked the whole jail part, the whole, trying to be good in a small town where everyone knows what you did. Although I don't get how did Grace and Patrick, or Patrice, I can't remember the guy's name, Grace and Patrick, they could just forgive her, Kenna, over one night just by reading a letter or a few letters compared to all the years, the 5, 6 years that they've hated her. I just can't grasp that. Maybe forgiveness is different for people. They read something and they can forgive, but I don't know, it's just real funny. But this was a really nice book. It was amazing. And the popular quote where everyone is, getting very hyped about, there was before you, there was during you, I never knew there was after you. Yeah, I found that and I got excited. But yeah, all in all, it was a really amazing book. I loved it. I loved it very much. The next is Verity, and this is one of my favorite books of Colleen Hoover. I think this is the favorite. And yeah, of course, she's gonna go to God tier. I love this book so much. It was my first introduction to thriller, actually. I loved it so much. It was the first book where romance isn't at the center of the book. Romance was about maybe 5% of the book. I loved the 95% was mystery and suspense. And yes, I also managed to read the bonus chapter. And if you ask me, I'm still team, I don't know, team manuscript or team letter. There was two teams, and I still think Verity did it. But then I also think that in the bonus chapter, I also think that the guy Jeremy is also bad. They're both bad together, and that's why they ended up with each other. That's why they clicked earlier, during their marriage. And I just feel pity for Lowen. She's gonna go through, I don't know, she's gonna go through crap, man, with Jeremy. But hey, she chose that life, right? Finally, we're at the last book, It Starts With Us. This was a very, 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 very overhyped book that actually was at fault of bringing down a popular website. I'm not going to say what it is, but this book, okay. I read this book in a day, in one sitting, and I loved it. It was so much better than It Ends With Us, because what am I saying? Well, Lily got her happy ending with Atlas. That's what all of us expected. I just didn't like the fact that Ryle is still portrayed as the bad guy. He didn't get his happy ending. He didn't get his, his satisfactory ending at least. He's still portrayed as the bad, jealous ex-boyfriend, which I didn't like. Come on. Everyone can change. Okay, maybe not, but I think Ryle deserves a chance. Ryle is still Lily's kid's father. He deserves something in the book. Come on, Colleen. So that's all the books that I had, and 27 books if I'm not mistaken. There's how many books here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13, 17. Yeah, there's 27 books here, I think. Am I good in math? So I paused and I counted, and there's 26 books. There's supposed to be 27 earlier, but because I accidentally duplicated one book here with different covers, so yeah, that's the reason I had 27. But there is only 26 books here, and this is my opinions of all the books that Colleen Hoover has wrote, and I would get to reading these 3 books in this year. I hope I can read these 3 this year, and I think these 2 are quite unpopular because of, it's not her own book. She's written with so many other authors. But Never Never, if I'm not mistaken, there are 3 books to this part, and I think she wrote it with she co-authored it with Taryn Fisher, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, this is my tier list for all the books written by Colleen Hoover. Don't come at me if you disagree with me. Thank you. That's the end for my video for tier ranking all of Colleen Hoover's books. As of course, everyone is entitled to their own opinions, so don't come at me for, putting It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us at for not putting It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us at the God tier, like how I see everyone on most YouTubers do that, but I didn't like those books that much, so yeah, that's why it's not going up there, and etc. And maybe putting Too Late at the top and not at the bottom because of the theme of the book. I really enjoyed how the theme was portrayed, that's why. And yeah, don't come at me. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more book review videos. That's all for now. I'll see you soon. Bye!